Hello everybody, this is Danny from Deep South Homestead on my porch time today. Wanted to just take a little time today to say thanks to everybody who comes out and watches us when we do our live stream and who watches all of our videos. As a matter of fact, we really appreciate that. And y'all notice behind me here it's starting to pour down raining. I've been out gathering firewood all morning and the heat was just so bad, and then all of a sudden I noticed it was clouding up, so I stopped and came in, and it's starting to rain now, so maybe it's going to cool off a little bit. I'm certainly hoping so. That's one reason I'm still got my old dirty overalls on, is because I didn't see any sense in changing just to do this, because I got so much more work that's got to be done. But I wanted to just kind of touch on a few things. I want to try to get back toward more teaching about the homestead and a little bit less of just rambling, because I feel like today a lot of our videos that people are making, we're just sitting and talking about stuff and rambling, and I don't know that that's the wisest thing to use our time for, because a lot of people is paying for a lot of expensive data to watch these videos, and I'm just not sure they're getting that much out of it. And I want to also say that there is some collabs going on right now. From Gopher Green Living has got a collab going right now. That's a good collab. We didn't take part in this one because we've got so much going on our homestead here. We're just barely able to do the videos that we do. And I mean, it's not that we didn't want to be a part of it, it's just that for us, our homestead comes first. And right now is really a busy time of the year for us with the heat like it is, trying to salvage as much food out of the place as we can, trying to get firewood up for the winter time. We had some stuff cut back in the spring, and it's just now getting dry enough that we can get it cut, and trying to get it inside. So I mean, that's the reason why we're not in the collab this time. It's not that we have any problems with it, because we don't. As a matter of fact, it's a pretty good collab, because I've watched several of them so far. I watched Gopher Green, I watched Julianne, and I watched Eric today, Big Bear, and I'm interested in seeing Doug and Stacy's tomorrow, because I've actually lived the one that Eric asked that question about, and I'm kind of curious to see where Doug and Stacy goes with it. But Eric brought out some very important, brought out a very important way of looking at the way he looks at the question that was asked to him about the Red Dawn situation. I personally don't live in fear either, and I don't think that it's a wise thing to do, because in survival training you'll learn right quick, and the martial arts, whenever I took it when I was younger, you learn that the person who's living in fear is expelling all of his energy, and he's not really accomplishing anything. And plus, if he's living in fear, it makes him extremely vulnerable. He doesn't think well, he doesn't act well, he doesn't have a level head on his shoulders when you live in fear. And to prep is not to live in fear. Because people, I guess there's one thing that kind of bothers me watching a lot of the videos I've been watching, is that people have this sense of a thought train that if you prep, you're living in fear. Or if you prep, you're prepping for the end of the world, or we're in the last days, and all this kind of stuff. I don't prep for those reasons. I prep to live. That's why I prep. I prep for life-changing events, because I've lived through a lot of life-changing events. And if I had not prepped, I hate using that word, but if I had not prepped, then I would have went hungry. Growing up as a child, my family was extremely poor, and we didn't have a lot of food to eat. So we raised most of what we ate when I was a real small child. And if y'all went back and seen some of my videos that I made about my life, you'll see that I mentioned at 12 years old, I mean, I would stand on the side of the road with my lunch in a bag, and I'd be picked up by a truck, and I was took to a field, and I was put off in a field, and I worked in a field all day picking cucumbers. Now, I did that from 12 to 15 years old. And when I become 15 years old, I had my own field. Because my dad had a few acres of land, and at 15, I had asked my dad, could I have 1 acre of that land to raise cucumbers in? I went to the plant, I got my own contract, and I raised and picked my own pickles by myself. I picked an acre by myself. I had it all scheduled out. I could pick a certain part every day, and I'd make a trip to the factory every day to deliver the pickles. So from that point in my life forward, I learned that if you're going to have anything to eat or just to own, you got to make wise decisions. And prepping is a wise decision. Now, me personally, I'm not one of these kind that runs out here and I don't buy the big guns. Now, I have guns, but I don't run out and buy the AR-15s and, you know, the M14s and all that kind of stuff. I used to have them with the 50-shot banana clips and all that, but I don't see any need in any of that anymore. I do have protection, but I don't see any sense in buying 15,000 rounds of ammunition, because I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, after studying some Bible, look, if somebody comes out here to my property and they're not coming alone, it's going to probably be a group that's going to come, the UN or whatever, whenever the grid goes down or whatever happens. I mean, it'll be the UN more than likely that comes house to house in this country. I don't think it'll be our local military. They're going to come peacefully to start with. They're going to ask you a series of questions. Your name's going to go into a database. A computer program's going to run, and they're going to throw out a thing, and it's going to say if you're a threat or not a threat. And if you are a threat, then they'll deal with you. But if you're not a threat, then they'll probably move on. But if you try to bulk them, and I know I'm going to get some flack on this, and so I'm already, that's okay. I'm a big boy, I can take it. You're not going to win the big battle. Because if you bulk them and you start firing at them with rifles and guns and all this kind of stuff, all they're going to do is call a drone in and they're just going to take you out. That's the bottom line. With the technology we got today, you won't ever see it coming. So, I will protect my family. If hoodlums or stuff like that comes along, I will do everything I can. I'll fight to my death to protect what I have here on this property, because you can ask my wife right now, I've thrown so many people off of this property from the state that has come here and tried to walk onto my property without warrants, and I've actually just thrown them off. Because in this country right now, I'm the owner of this property, and you're trespassing unless I give you permission to come on it. It doesn't matter who you are. So, don't take me wrong. I'm a peaceful, easy-loving guy, but I do believe in protecting what we have. I just don't believe in being stupid with it. I think that if we use wisdom, we will be able to work with our law enforcement officers. We'll be able to work with the military if they come out here. I do believe at some point there's going to be gun control, but I don't think that they're going to actually just come up immediately and try to take them away, because if they did, there'd be a civil war in this country. I think probably what will happen is there'll be a taxing on the ammunition. They will make certain rounds of ammunition illegal. They'll start in some form like that. If you go to buy a gun, then they already do the background checks, but they'll probably more than likely when you buy a gun, if it's of a certain caliber, they'll probably pass some laws that you'll have to leave it in a facility on a range, and then you'll have to go check it out to fire it and then check it back in. stuff like that. In order, gun control will come in, but it'll probably come in gradually. And I know Charlton Heston made the statement, you know, you won't get my guns, you pry it from my cold dead fingers, and I probably feel the same way myself. But what good is my wife going to do? What good am I going to be to my wife if I do something stupid and I get killed, and she's left here all by herself? You know, it'd be a little bit more wise of me to keep my head on my shoulders and keep myself alive so I can take care of my wife through some bad things. But I want to urge people to not jump on this fear factor thing that seems like it's going around. That's kind of where I want people. I wish that we could think about it. It's just the simple fact that we don't know what tomorrow holds. We don't have a clue, but we can try to do the best that we can do, and we can try to prepare as much as we can and hope that God shows favor towards us. You know, I had some people here at the house yesterday that was talking about, you know, some of the end time events, or should this happen or should that happen, you know, what would we do? People come to me all the time for advice on these things, and I basically tell them just what I told y'all. Don't live in fear. You know, try to stock up and buy yourself some food, and people, food's important, but water's a little bit more important than food is. You can live a lot longer without food than you can without water, and you can live a lot longer without water than you can without a way to stay warm. So go back and watch. I have a video on the 3 rules. I think I did it on. I think it was one of my Porch Times I did. The three rules of survival, and you'll understand. Let's get our priorities in order, and let's quit living in this fear factor that we live in, and let's start looking at life and saying, you know what, if I'm alive today, then I'm going to prepare and take care of my family tomorrow. I'm going to work on my home, my farm, my homestead, my urban homestead. If you live in town, if you just do patio gardens, if you have a nice garden and you have a big field and you're growing stuff that way, or if you just simply are a prepper and you don't have a place to raise anything and you go and buy everything from a farmer's market or whatever, you bring it home, you can it, you put it up. Let's get back to the basics. Let's get back to just surviving, you know, and not living in fear, because there's a real good possibility that a Great Depression scenario could happen again. And if that happens, I'm going to tell you, I talk to a lot of people, and I'm a little bit overly concerned with the population. I'm just not going to lie to you, because I talked to a guy this past week who brought up the subject that it seems like everybody lives in a life of entitlement now. It seems like everybody thinks they're entitled to something. And I don't know where this mentality came from. I guess it might have been could have been my generation's fault on the way we raised our kids. It could have been our parents' generation's fault by not wanting our kids to have to go through the things that we went through growing up. And maybe we should have let them deal with some of the things that we had to deal with, because I think it's caused a lot of them to think that they're just owed some things. And to be honest with you, we're not owed anything. The Bible says if a man don't work, he shouldn't eat. And I mean, the basic meaning behind that is if you don't get out and raise something to eat, then you shouldn't eat. And that's kind of my philosophy in life. And my health being as bad as it is, I still get up. I still go out and get firewood in the heat, because everybody says, oh man, that's the craziest thing in the world. Well, not really, because I'm preparing. Wanda and I don't have the luxury of walking in and punching a button and turning the heating unit on. We don't have that luxury. We have to heat our house with wood, and if I don't gather wood in the summer when it's 100 degrees then I'm not going to be able to stay warm in the winter when it's cold. And if I don't grow a garden and I don't put it up and prepare, Wanda and I don't have a job, so we will go hungry when it gets to be wintertime. That's the bottom line. That's why we prepare. And I want us to get back to having videos about how we actually grow stuff, how we actually do things to survive day-to-day life. And I'm sorry on my own channel here if I've faltered from that, because I feel like I got caught up in some of the things that's going on, and it kind of took my attention off of how I do things here to actually live. Now I want to say I apologize if I have fell short and not been teaching like I should have been teaching, and that was my desire in the beginning, was to teach how to live a sustainable life. Then I am, of all people, am truly sorry that I've failed, and I'm wanting to get back to that. I want to get back to showing the kinds of equipment that I use. I'm wanting to get back to showing the how I save my seeds, not just one particular seed, but different seeds require different ways of saving them. So I want to get back to these things because I feel like that's why y'all started this in the beginning with us, and I want to get back to that so that we can continue to teach. And so I think I'm going to stop there today and try to start working on some videos that deals with how we prepare our foods, how we use our canned stuff, how we can our stuff, some of the equipment that we use on the farm here, how we plant some of our things, what times of the year we plant some of our things. This is the kind of stuff I want to get back to. So thank y'all for watching me, and thank y'all for subscribing, and I want to tell each one of you how much I love and appreciate you, and look forward to or reading your comments down below. Thank you from Deep South Homestead.